Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching Palm Royale, Season 1, Episode 2.
Maxine saves a cat.
Did she?
No, she broke the cat.
She broke the cat.
Broke the head right off
She
it.
stole it. Then
she stole
it back.
She stole it basically from herself eventually.
And found a way
to pay $75,000
on top of the $375 she owes the hotel.
Yeah.
So I very much, nothing has changed. Very much love it. I kind of have no idea what's going on.
Same.
Okay. I don't hate that. It's not really a problem.
Yeah.
This, if you're doing the watch along with us, the scene at the end where she just walks into the pool and starts floating, I was grinning from here to here. This is just, and very much at this specific moment in my life, this is my dream reality.
Sure.
I would watch this show like a screensaver. I'm not sure what exactly we're doing. She's still trying to infiltrate. She's gotten the country club, or she's gotten the club for a month.
Yeah.
And I guess
it's conditional.
Yeah, it's like a trial, and you need 2 more sponsors. Mm-hmm. And she's on fine ground with Dinah, and she's actually back to help. I think they're going to be friends. I mean, frenemies for sure, but, and she is doing too much with Evelyn.
Yeah.
But she did challenge Evelyn, which I think was the right move.
I agree. Evelyn's being a bitch.
I was gonna say elaborate at any point. I'm just kind of going through what
Evelyn's being a bitch. I'm sorry. I'm waiting for us to talk about the
We'll get to
Laura Dern scene because I have many things to say.
You're really upset by it. I'm taking it all at face value. Do you want to just
second wave feminism kind of makes me sick.
Okay.
Because it's very like, if you want to stay home and raise a family, you're a bad feminist.
It's the pendulum effect. It's the kind of overcorrecting back and forth.
And it's like, so there's been some stuff going on lately on TikTok.
That's called second wave feminism?
The 60s and 70s.
So
I said first wave yesterday, and that was wrong.
Suffragette is first wave, I guess.
So
look, I'm learning.
So there's been this thing going on TikTok, and I don't want to get too deep into it because it's a touchy subject. I don't want to elaborate on it on the channel. They have been bullying creators off of TikTok because they will not speak about
respond certain ways about certain
Palestine.
Things. Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's not anyone on TikTok's job. And that is like, that's what it felt like to me. Well, do you know who picked that fruit? And I'm like, why did you put the fruit there if you were just going to shame everybody for eating it?
Okay, yeah, sure,
you know what I mean? And then because in addition to that, in episode 1, Virginia gave Linda shit about having made this beautiful spread. And now we find out it's because she's Evelyn's stepdaughter. So she came from money. And so she knows how to do that. But somehow Virginia finds that to be distasteful. And I'm like, look, man, I fucking can't with this.
Do you think... I don't recall. Does the women's group know about Linda /
I think at least Virginia does.
Okay.
I'm not sure they all do, but Virginia seems to be like her right hand. Mm-hmm. So I think Virginia does. But I don't know. That's just that kind of stuff.
I don't know. I have a reverence because they are fighting the good fight.
Of course, and I'm not disagreeing. I think second wave feminism was very important, but like,
you don't want to hang out in it?
I don't want to hang out in it. And then also, in addition to that, the way that she was like, I kind of lost my point. It's just that the way that they're acting about Maxine is really frustrating because the whole point of, in my opinion, the feminism we are living in today is that, like, I can do whatever the fuck I want, and just because it's not what you want to do doesn't make it invalid that I want to do it. That's the point. And this is very like, if you don't want a job and to be a career woman and to do XYZ,
you're part of the problem.
You are a problem. And it's like, Maxine is like, well, I don't have kids, so as a woman, what I care about is being happy and beautiful things right now. And I'm just like, more of that.
Beauty gets a bad rap.
It really does.
It is my single favorite thing in the world. And, you know, it is the type of thing that you can lose your bearings in pursuit of. But I think that it is far too often conflated with
frivolousness.
Or,
frivolity.
Or there's another word I'm going for. But that was something that I was trying to touch on back last summer when we were talking about Barbie, and I was talking about sort of the reclamation of that space.
Sure.
As
I want to be like other girls,
or a positive,
yeah.
Traditional femininity
yeah.
as an empowering thing.
Yeah,
I find it fascinating.
And also, what's interesting to me is that Maxine does seem to be learning from them. Like
that's what where I'm interested is what place does it have in this show?
Sure.
I'm like, so what is the point of these scenes with this woman's group in this show? And I mean, I don't know if I'm overthinking it or underthinking it. I mean, is it just rounding out Maxine? She needs a little bit of rounding out.
She does, and I'm not sure. I'm obviously gonna, keep an open mind going forward. That's such a hot button thing to me because, like, if I had my druthers and I didn't love my husband and I had married for money, I would be like this. I would be like this. And I think that there's obviously ways.
Cacao on tap.
It's just like nothing but grasshopper cocktails. No, but I do think there's a way to do it because we are just getting constantly bombarded by Richard Nixon jump scares in this show too. And so I'm just sort of, they are conflating being a beautiful woman with money who belongs to this country club with basically bombing Cuba. And I'm like,
that's what I was going to say is because 2 episodes in and there has been the presence of Vietnam. I wouldn't say looming over.
No, but it exists.
Thrum in the background. And I'm curious, is that to just remind us of the time period, or is there going
to be something overarching,
a narrative or a purpose to that? I'm curious. I'm not sure what this show is saying, and at this point, I'm not even convinced that it is saying something.
Sure.
That's not exactly what I am wanting from it. I guess on some level, I want, if I'm going to be devoting hours of my life to something, I would want for it to have a point, maybe?
Sure.
But a POV or a perspective sometimes can be enough.
Yeah. I just, that's all to say, I'm going to try not to harp on it going forward, but it was, especially the, very on-the-nose moment where Linda was like, we're doing this so our daughters don't have to fight, and in 30 years, everything will be great, and I'm just sitting here with, no rights to my own body.
In Florida, where you need
I would need my husband to sign papers to
procure back, what do they call it? Back alley abortion?
Yeah.
I kept wanting to say backdoor abortion.
No.
That's not a thing.
But yeah, so it's just that's the kind of stuff that really frustrates me, especially because I am, as a woman and a feminist, in a very, I like being like other girls place, and I like pretty things, and I like
the sisterhood between the strippers.
Yes, and I just don't think that I need to look frumpy and be angry and shame people for their beautiful charcuterie spreads. I
think it depends on. It also depends on who you are in the world in your life.
I think the last thing I'll say is it's also because I always feel silly about stuff like this, and I don't want people to start dragging me in the comments. I understand that we are in unprecedented times, and there is an overconsumption problem, and things are very expensive, and people are very struggling. I get that. I'm here for that. This is also fiction for the most part. And so I'm operating from a place of yes, this is based on a real time period, but as a modern woman, it is frustrating to me to be enveloped by these talking points and to have them shaming Maxine for just wanting to live this beautiful life.
I think it's I hope it's establishing something that will carry through.
Yeah.
There are several other talking points. I kind of didn't mean to shade, but I kind of made a joke at Ricky Martin's expense being third billed, and I guess that's just is.
Well, you're right, because
true.
I think they are not yet, but I do think they're gonna be in cahoots. Him and Maxine.
When he was staying at the Delacorte house and he caught her breaking in, I was like, oh, he is on this show.
Yeah.
Okay, so he is the pool boy who is presumably sleeping with Norma.
I believe
I just assumed he was the gay cabana boy, but I'm guessing he's the straight cabana boy. Hand in hand. Cabana boys tend to be men.
He could be the opportunistic cabana boy.
Men of many facets.
Yeah.
But there's.
We learned one thing from Kato Kaelin.
You don't want to know where I was going to go.
Move along.
No, I know where I was going to go, but it derailed my point.
So, I'm sorry.
Please cut this. I was going to go to Brian Callen on Mad TV, had a character called the Cabana Boy.
Oh.
But I think he's like an alt-right person now.
Oh.
And it was problematic. Mad TV, when does that need to be brought up?
Ricky Martin's not doing so high. He had accusations a couple years ago.
Okay, you sleep with one cousin.
I'm just saying.
And...
saying.
For the love of God, Will.
Leave it all in!
One too many grasshoppers.
This is just a seltzer.
So we did meet a few other club members. There was Mary, who is the older woman with the white hair.
Yeah, she was in the first episode too.
Yeah, she's doing. I didn't.
Yeah.
She didn't.
I like her. Her name's Juliet Duffy. I know her from like a handful of things. Yeah.
Was she's doing the fibrosis thing?
Yes, but not cystic fibrosis.
Yeah, it's like cirrhosis. Is that
it's like fibrosis of the liver?
Okay.
But cirrhosis was taken.
Yeah. So she's Maxine's second sponsor. And we met, I don't remember her name, but it's Natalie from The Facts of Life.
Anne.
Yeah. And she edits the silver...
Shiny paper.
The shiny paper.
Shiny sheet. Shiny sheet.
Which is like the gossip column, I guess.
Sort of like page 6, but for Palm Beach.
She seems very helpful. She was kind of Lisa Luder coded.
Oh, sure.
Kind of gave me that vibe.
Sure, I'll give you that.
She looks great.
Yeah.
So that's always nice to see kind of what I would consider legacy people.
The other thing...
Pop up and things like this.
Oh, for sure. The other thing, too, is Maxine is literally writing checks that she can't cash. Like... Constantly. Nothing but checks that are about to bounce.
I am actually so excited to watch the show because I don't know where we're gonna go.
Yeah.
Because she steals the statue of Bast from Norma in order to get into this auction, in order to get the sponsor. She has no idea what it is. She barely cased the joint.
Yeah.
You were like, go upstairs.
No,
find
none of the bedrooms?
necklace.
Yeah,
No.
there's got to be more necklaces up there.
She goes right for that, finds out that it's valuable, and goes straight to, I bid $75,000. We made a stop at 2,000.
Yeah, but
but it was like test track. We went all the way 0 to 60, and no word of how we're gonna riddle that out.
No.
She seems worried enough about it in the sense that she spent the last minute of the episode floating fully clothed in the pool.
Yeah,
and yet. Still, I don't think she's worried enough.
Yeah, I feel like she's very confident that Norma is going to die at any moment, like to the point where she's having nightmares about smothering her just to get it over with. But then, what's his name? Is it Robert? Yeah, Ricky Martin's character, Robert, like finally went to go visit her, and she like moved around a little and opened her eyes. And so it could take like weeks or months or years. And so it's like, I think she's played all of her stuff too quickly.
Well, the opening scene was from the pageant in which she's an escape artist. She gets out of things. So, sure. But we did have another scene with Mitzi being cute. Kaya Gerber, they practice her runway walk.
Not even trying to pretend she's not Cindy Crawford's daughter.
She looks more and more like her each time.
Oh, yeah.
But her boyfriend doesn't think she has a face for catalogs.
And what it was like...
Also, Cindy Crawford, famously, like, the peak of both catalog and runway.
Yeah.
Like, she could do both.
They also... Apparently, her boyfriend said she has all the grace of a sea bass. Which, like... Please.
There was one or two other things that I was going to comment on.
Well, Linda was her final sponsor. Her name was Penelope Rollins.
Well, did we say she's Evelyn's daughter?
Evelyn's stepdaughter.
Stepdaughter, yeah.
So the husband, Evelyn's husband, who's in hospice, is her father. Because they run into each other outside Norma's room.
And they parted ways. Linda parted ways very purposefully and with a finality that I don't think is going to is going to maintain. Yeah,
she's been locked out of the hotel room because she owes $360. And it's like, I understand that she had at least $20,000 in 1969. And so I'm just sort of like, I know you had to spend a lot of money on these clothes, but like, how much money on these clothes, because she's cleaned out Norma's hospice room. There's no jewels left to be found in there. Everything is gone. And she told the pawn shop guy, I'll be back for these.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I just think she's counted her Norma is dead chickens well before they hatched. And especially because it's Carol Burnett, so Norma is obviously going to wake up. So I'm just kind of like, what are we doing?
Oh, also, Dinah has rekindled her romance with Eduardo, and we did get a little bit of time with her husband, who I maybe love. I don't know. I don't think that he's a good guy. No. But I was thoroughly enjoying the performance.
Yeah, Harry.
Yeah. So,
that tennis scene was hilarious. It was so silly.
So I think that that's good for the second episode. Yeah, we're gonna watch the third, and if we remember anything or have anything to say, we'll talk about it then.
Bye.